Okay guys, I'm back here with an update on all these games I got on auction. I'll go through them one by one and kind of show you what I've done, what needs to be done, and what my plans are for them. I'll start first with the Killer Instinct that I'm going to keep, which is this one here. It's in very nice shape. The issues it has right now are a few small ones. Somebody drilled some bolts through the control panel here and here for security purposes. It doesn't have any kind of a cover on here, so it's just the actual metal control panel overlay, which is in very nice shape, but you know, obviously it's got those two bolts through it, so I'm going to have to do that. Front panel and the entire coin door and coin door access panel are in very nice shape. The monitor, when I got it, did not work. The game played blind, meaning that the PCB runs in the background when you can't see any images in there. And I'll show you why I want to get around the back. The bulb lights up in the marquee. Here's the left side of the cabinet. Really nice, except for a couple of small things. Looks like somebody had one of those ratchet straps right here and kind of cranked down it and took some of the image off. And then there's a noticeable gouge, or not a gouge, it's just like the sticker has been rubbed there, kind of all the way down, and it trickles down to here and there. So I can touch that up to some extent. But you know, a little, it's not perfect, but it is one of the better ones that I've seen condition-wise overall. But the side art on this side has you know, those little marks in it. But you know, whatever, it is what it is. So here's the inside of the cabinet. It's almost perfect in here. The only thing that, as you can see, is missing is the chassis on the arcade monitor frame, and that was dangling down in about this area here when I bought it, and it was not connected to anything. The neck board was not connected, so I think whoever brought this game in for auction knew that it wasn't working and planned on having a repair. So I sent it into P&L, a place in California that repairs chassis for a very good price and does a good job. So when I get that, hopefully it'll work. Plug it back in, this game will be up and running. There's the board. I took out the hard drive because I'm waiting for Arcade Cup. That's one of our places where I buy the drop-in hard drives where you don't have to plug anything in. It doesn't take any extra power. So I'm waiting for that to come. Once I put that in, we'll have it up and running. There's the fan and the power supply, isolation transformer. This one also came with all the original manuals, including the Hanorex monitor schematic and manual, which is pretty nice. So here's the other side. This one's got really nothing wrong with it. The only thing I can pick out is they drilled a hole here for security purposes, another hole here, and there's a couple of little tiny nicks here. Other than that, this side is pretty good. That side of the control panel is basically, I'd say it's about 90 out of 100, just a tad bit of fading on the O on the Nintendo. So hopefully that monitor chassis will come back and that'll be up and running. I'm also going to keep the buttons. These 12 buttons here, the blue ones, are actually in very nice shape. The white ones are a little dirty and used, but the black joysticks have to go. Obviously, I don't like those. Took all the T-molding off, so I'm waiting for them. I'm going to do the blue T-molding that matches the buttons on this one as well. So pretty good shape for this one. I'm pretty happy with this one. The T2, as you can see, I got it kind of torn apart here. When I got it, it was playing blind as the Killer Instinct was, but I found out some issues with it. The marquee light was not working. I had an extra one that I took out of a Blitz machine a long time ago, so I fixed that. Also, one of the speakers wasn't working, so I figured out that one of the little connectors right there was actually unplugged and just kind of dangling there. The control panel is in nice shape, but you can see it's got a bunch of crap on there. The guns, they're in decent shape. They have a lot of, I don't know if you can see in this light here, but this kind of like film on it from people gripping it. So I'm going to have to take those apart and either soak them or figure out a way to get that all off. And then the screws are kind of rusted and janky looking, but I did take the bases off. These are the bases that go around there. And I sanded them down, painted them black with a gloss black, and then put like a shine coat on with this stuff right here. Valspar, get it at Lowe's, lacquer high gloss. So, like I said, the control panel is in good shape. There's a bunch of crap up here, and the Lexan is it's kind of beat up a little bit. It's kind of scratched up and gouged up. So I'm gonna have to come up with a way to cut a piece like this, which is kind of a weird shape. I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of comes down like this, and then across, and then you have to cut out these big sections here. So I'm not really sure how to do that. That'll be a learning experience. I might try on a piece of plexiglass first since Lexan's so damn expensive. The front of the panel, or the front of the machine here, I started to fill in some of these bolt holes where they put these security latches to keep the doors closed. This must have been, added after the fact since it's silver. Obviously it doesn't match. I'll have to repaint. I'm going to repaint the entire front of this cabinet. I'm going to try to mask off the T2 here and the midway to try to keep it nice and clean. But the front's in nice shape. The original serial number's there. It's just kind of worn down a little bit. This cabinet is similar in the fact that it has an open access panel in the front, like the Mortal Kombat 1, and you can slide out the whole PCB. This also has a third board. So here's the main PCB. Here's the sound card like MK1 and MK2. And then this board here is the in-out board for some flash bulbs and then for the guns. So I'm guessing that's what's bad. Although when I power it up, all the lights go on and all the connections and the fuses are good. So I ordered another one of these from a guy on the KLOV website, and I'm going to see if that will fix the issue I'm having right now with this game, which is everything works perfectly except for when the guns, when you go to aim, it just shoots up in the top left-hand corner. There's no little X and Y axis that shows on the screen wherever you point with the gun. It just stays like this and shoots in the top left-hand corner. But, the trigger works, the red and green LEDs up here work, and the bomb button, when you press that, all works. So I'm not really sure what the issue is with that. Hopefully that new board will fix that, and I can get this one in the house, because I'm keeping this. Here's the left side, or I'm sorry, the right side of the cabinet. The only problem with this cabinet is it's just a tad bit faded overall. As you can see, the red is kind of like pinked out a little bit. It's not as vibrant, like especially right in there. But, for a machine that's from 1991 or 1992, it's in pretty good shape. Arnold's face is in good shape. And the T2 looks good. The Game on Graphics sells full side art for this, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to keep it all original since this is the original stuff, and it's in good enough shape for me. But this cabinet, I will tell you, weighs a ton. I don't know what it is about the shape of it, but it's very heavy, so I put it on wheels. And I'll show you something weird about the back of it. Since this machine is a shooting game, here's the monitor, and it's actually facing up. I think I might have shown this before, and the image displays up into a mirror, which is up here, and then straight out to you. So you're actually shooting the gun into the mirror. And here's the monitor here, you can kind of see it, and then the overall cabinet design where all the stuff is in the bottom. One thing I didn't know about this cabinet when I played this as a kid, I don't ever remember, but there's 8 little bulbs, like almost landscape bulbs, that are similar to a pinball machine called flash bulbs. And when they're shooting at you and there's explosions going on, there's actually flashes on the screen. So it's pretty cool. I'll make a video of it when I get this thing up and running. But that's where I'm at with the T2. The other Killer Instinct I have is another dedicated machine, which was in fairly good shape, but had some water damage from about the 1-inch mark down. And you can kind of see some of the wood starting to come out a little bit, like right here. The cabinet's in very nice shape. The issue I have, like I said, is that that's the water. Once you get water in these things, it starts to expand. You can see that this is a little thicker here. As it goes up, it gets skinnier. So I put a new marquee in it. It's got the original, epilepsy seizure sticker on here, which is pretty cool. Those are hard to come by. Monitors looks good. Actually, the chassis, if you saw it, you would think this thing's a piece of crap, but it looks good and displays good and plays good. I took the control panel apart because it was just all hacked up. But the overlay, the metal one that's underneath the Lexan, is actually in almost perfect shape. There's really nothing wrong. There's just some black marks on here that I took some time and cleaned up and put some Goo Gone on there. But the panel's in nice shape. The front panel had some black stuff on it, and I cleaned it up with some Goo Gone and a little bit of steel wool, which is good on these things because it doesn't scratch if you go nice and light. The front coin door and cash box are completely rotted and rusted out, so I completely removed them. I left one screw in there so you could see how rusted it is. You can see how rusty that is compared to the rest of this, and I painted the entire front of this cabinet. Turned out pretty good. It looks pretty good. The only issue is that I forgot to take these little plastic things out. So I ended up painting over those, which is not a big deal, but I got to get new ones to put in there at, say, like 25 cents or a coin insert, whatever it may be. Here's the other side. This side's in very, very nice shape as well. There's only one thing wrong with this side, and it's this little mark right here. Not a big deal. This side over here is in very nice shape as well. Like I said, there's really nothing on the side that's really an issue, except for this one mark right here. And then the control panel, for some reason, is completely missing the Nintendo side over here. I don't know what happened over here, but it almost looks like somebody ripped off whatever was on here, because there's nothing under here. This is the wood. So I'm going to have to print out, either a Nintendo side for that or come up with a fix for that as far as it matching the other side. So I'm probably going to have to bring it to a print shop and have Nintendo printed up. Not a big deal, but another added expense. Here's the rear of the cabinet. I'll turn the game on. Actually, let me plug it in here. Quite a few games in here, and I'll show you that it does work. But here's the chassis. Like I said, it's kind of old, rusted looking. It's not original. You can tell by things like this. Somebody jimmy rigged this here, but it's all properly wired. But we don't have a ground in here. Like this, the green is the ground in here, so this is not original. The power supply is good. It's got some rusted screws in there, but like I said, everything works. It powers up nice. I painted the inside of the cabinet floor and the cash box up to about maybe a ½ inch all black, and that's because the bottom, like I said, was water damaged. So I took everything out, completely painted the bottom of it with a waterproofing paint that kind of holds everything in check. So it actually looks really nice in here. It's kind of black, obviously, because I painted it black, but everything else works. So let's show you. Turn it on. Turn off the light here in the garage. This machine is in the sun, or the glare of the sun, but you can see it looks pretty good. Coin door bulbs don't light up as well. That's another thing I gotta fix. Those are easy to fix. So anyways, you can see it works. I'll shut it off. Here's the MK cabinet. I've run into a little bit of an issue with the Mortal Kombat cabinet that I was going to strip, decided, after it's stripped, and took the whole decal off. The issue is that the side art that your MK Arcade Source helped finish is going to cost me like $300 or $280 to just have printed up and installed. Well, I'm going to install them, but $280 for side art is just ridiculous. So I'm trying to wait on this machine to see if I'm going to do that or find it cheaper at a different printer. If I can't find any cheaper, I might just keep this cabinet black, put it back together as an MK cabinet. As you can see, it stands. It's got the new marquee, the instruction sticker. The entire front of the cabinet, sides and back have all been painted. I rewired the entire cabinet. I also took out the cash box. It was kind of janky looking and spray painted that. A nice glossy black here, you can see it. Fixed the credit button, which is here, the volume pot. I also installed the Turbo Ninja ROMs on the PCB and custom made this little harness here so we can get the correct sound. But I'm just kind of at a crossroads with the machine right now. I'm trying to decide if I want to put more money into it. I had the monitor fixed. It's in nice shape. It's the original Hanorex. So I got some money into this where I'm kind of at the point where I don't really want to put any more money into it. So once I get the joysticks and the buttons and some T-molding installed, I'll decide if I'm just going to sell it locally here, to somebody who just wants a Mortal Kombat cabinet and move on with my day, or if I want to put together the whole side art and do that whole route. So that's where I'm at with that one. This one here, I'm waiting for simply buttons, joysticks for me to cut a new Lexan piece and some T-molding, and that one will be for sale. The T2, I'm waiting for that board, and I'm also waiting for a few other things like a new Lexan top. This one here, buttons and joysticks, and the drop-in drive, and that's about it. So we'll see you next time.